Good evening and welcome to Roundtable. Today we have with us Mr. Tissa De Silva. He is an independent chartered consultant and engineer environmentalist. So good evening, Mr. Tissa De Silva.
Good evening, Divama.
So tell our viewers a little bit about yourself and your background.
Yeah, I'm an independent, and I must stress on that. I'm not a employee of the government or any of the government corporations. I practice on my own, and I started my life as an engineer in 1964, graduating from University of Ceylon, and with postgraduate qualifications after that in Australia. And I have worked here in Sri Lanka and also in Australia for a number of years, and come back to Sri Lanka on few occasions and worked here and went back and comes back again. And this time I decided I'll come back in early February, and in May I touched Sri Lanka because I found that the present government's actions was the best environment for me in my age to come back and reinvest my knowledge as well as money I would have earned in Australia back in Sri Lanka, where I had the privilege of having a free education right from the age of 4 or 5 right through the university, and a scholarship to go to Australia too.
So you were from the University of Ceylon, is it?
I am from the University of Ceylon with postgraduate experience from University of New South Wales in Australia. So I must stress that I thought that I should come for this interview because it's the first time I am coming into a political interview. Because if time has come for independent people like us to come out and tell those colleagues of ours who are here why we should trust our views and show how we have come to those views, because time might be late if we don't do it at this moment.
Why do you think so?
Because we have the choice of two people, that is my present President Mahinda Rajapaksa and the man who is the next most commonly expected to get the next to Mahinda is Sarath Fonseca. Well, I must also say one of my university colleagues, Vikram Bahu, also is contesting from the left, but I won't put a vote for him. So I think it is critical, because this is the first time a man in uniform, after practicing for 40 years with the gun and the uniform, taking orders and carrying out orders and giving orders, is going to come into a civil administration if by an unlikely event he comes forward. And I see there is a big danger to our country, like what we have seen in few of our neighbors, as well as Germany, Latin America, Africa, and I wouldn't want that to happen to my children or your children in the future.
So this is why you are stressing on the fact that you are an independent person, and the first time you are coming for a political sort of interview where you're actually talking about politics, and that you're not attached to any government party, right? Is that correct?
That is correct. I must stress that I'm not on the payroll of any government agency or contract or consultancy from the government, because I being a free man, I don't want to be under obligation to any points of view of my paymaster.
So what is the message that you really want to give your other colleagues like you, independent thinkers, free thinkers? What is the main objective and message you want to give them?
The message is that this is a critical time, and first, if you have an idea about it, you must express it, because it will be too late for us if we get a military man, ex-military man, into the post of a civil administrator in charge of the whole country. That is, I wouldn't want a man who is experienced with the gun in one hand giving orders to all our people with the other hand, while while on the other side, President Mahinda Rajapaksa in the last 4 years has demonstrated very well how a civilian administrator who kept in touch with the people's pulses and took the country through the worst period of our time with respect to a war, which was the last 30 years war. In 4 years he was able to finish that war and then have 7 months of completely peaceful area, and I don't want that lost.
But how can you say that it will be lost for sure if Mr. Fonseca comes, in the unlikely event, as you said, he comes into power? What are the reasons, what are the facts that will back it? And how can you just say that because he was in the military before, that he will actually not be suitable? Because we also, if you look at world politics, we have seen maybe people from the military, army commanders coming into power. So how can we assume something? And I would want you to sort of elaborate and make us understand, because exactly it's not clear to me what you're trying to say there.
If you look at the background through which he's coming now, he's been sponsored by two extreme groups. One is the JVP, the present JVP. I used to know the JVP from 71, when students and young graduates were back in certain ideas. And I also went through certain hardships at that time. I lost my job too, I must say, when the country was being brought into a rebellion, because that was a rebellion which had to happen because the people were not getting their due share. So, but all those elements have now left the JVP, and a few people are left with the JVP, which I believe is a group of people who are akin to the Pol Pot type administration of ruling the people to force down the throats of the people, especially the urban elite and the educated people. They will like to see them dispatched like the 2 million odd Cambodians who died under Pol Pot into various situations outside into the farms and all that. So that is one extreme, and that is the extreme where complete control of the government, there won't be any other voices. On the other extreme is the right-wing capitalist market economy of the United National Party. It exposed itself when I too was back in Sri Lanka in the 2004 period, as well as in the 1977, when I might say that world would consider the greedy capitalism where survival of the fittest was the mark of the day. You make your money by hook or by crook and survive. And under that philosophy, there's another extreme philosophy of marketing economy, where free education, free health, all that will go out, and we will have these two philosophies. And these two philosophies, I can't understand how they can get together and bring Fonseca in, or Sarath Fonseca, into the center to govern a country with the military. So
is that the reason why you say that Mr. Fonseca will not be in the position to govern the country? Is it because of the two extreme nature of the parties? Is it the only reason?
What I believe is, Fonseca also would be aware that he will not be able to administer the country with these two extremes, and it may be a possible excuse for him to use to say that it is in an ungovernable state with these two partners. So I knock the two partners off, and I feel Fonseca, one of Fonseca's first items will be not to attack the SLFP or others who are voting against, who are campaigning against him, but first to attack the partners who brought them, because saying they are the people who are not allowing him to govern.
But why would he do that?
Because then it opens him the